Part 4 of the Gods and Goddesses of the Prince of Egypt movie. Today we're going to be talking about, wait for it, if you didn't quite catch that, we're going to be looking at Khnum, or Khnum, who is one of the earliest known Egyptian gods. Now, Khnum is typically thought of as the god of the source of the Nile, and the Nile, being the only major river in Egypt, was the source of all life. If there was no Nile, there would have never been an ancient civilization. So the annual floods that would come yearly, those were thought to bring life along with the actual fertile silt and clay that it was bringing from the south to the north. That is why Khnum is kind of talked about as a creator god, because it's believed that he created human beings. And how did Khnum make human beings, you may ask? He made them on a potter's wheel. He actually took clay from probably the Nile, and he molded them. And it is also then believed that he would then place these molded clay humans into each mother's womb, who then, of course, would give birth to each human. And it's so cute. I can't take it. It's so cute. Here's another image of him creating human on a potter's wheel. And because of all of this, his titles are the Divine Potter and the Lord of Created Things from Himself, two really great titles, honestly. So as you saw previously, Khnum is either depicted as a ram-headed human or simply as just a ram. And he's typically shown with a potter's wheel, making the humans out of clay, or he could be shown holding a jar which is streaming with water. That's supposed to be the source of the Nile, per se. Now, Khnum was mainly worshipped at two sites, Elephantine and Esna. In Elephantine, Khnum was worshipped with his wife Satis and their daughter Anuket. The three of them formed the Elephantine Triad, which is just a fancy word for saying three gods were worshipped at the same place. Typically, a triad is usually two parents and their child. Now, Satis was the goddess of the Nile flood, and Anuket was the goddess of the Egyptian cataracts. And cataracts are not the things that are in your eyes, but are areas of the Nile where it becomes very rocky and hard to pass through with large boats. Now in Esna, Khnum had this large temple, which is in amazing preservation. And sometimes he was also depicted as a crocodile-headed god in this area. Here, the Nubian war goddess Menhit was one of his wives, and Heka, a literal personification of the Egyptian concept of magic, was actually his son, which is a little hard to wrap your head around. Check back in next week for another god from the Prince of Egypt.